Hi, in this video, we are going to analyze a classical game played by the legendary player and also fourth world champion Alexander Alekhine. It's a correspondence game played in 1908. Alekhine played with black pieces in this game and he started with e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, Rilopus opening, also known as Spanish, a6, bishop a4, knight f6, castle, bishop c5. All these moves are main moves. In this position, c3 is the best move for white, also a main move to fight for the center. But in this game, white played knight takes e5, which is also a nice idea to fight for the center, and also white removes black's center pawn. But there are some drawbacks in this idea for this position. So I can just went for knight takes e5, d4. Now pause the video and try to find the best continuation for black. So for d4, I can just took the center pawn on e4. Even bishop takes d4 is also completely playable, but he took with knight takes e4. And white played rook e1. Now all these three pieces are hanging, but black is completely fine with bishop e7, first escaping from the pin and also protecting the king. So rook takes e4, and now Alekhine played knight d6. No need for knight c6 because after knight g6, the knight will be helpful on king side, and also now this bishop on a4 looks stupid. It does nothing. So again, white has to bring this bishop to play. So white will lose some moves. So that's why this idea is not good in this question. So for knight g6, white played knight c3, but I will prefer c4 in this position because it gains more center control, and also it's easy to coordinate the pieces with knight c3 and bishop c2. But white played knight c3 and castle, knight d5, trying to exchange this bishop, and white will also get a bishop pair. It's the idea behind this move. So Alekhine played bishop b6. This move looks weird because generally we won't put the bishop in front of the pawn so that it will be tough to develop this bishop. But it's completely fine because Alekhine is going to play c6 and bishop c7 d5. Then black will be completely fine. Here, white played queen f3, definitely a mistake because now white has to think about his development problems. This bishop does nothing, this bishop is not developed, so he has to think about this development problems first. And here, Alekhine played f5 once again. It's also not a great move. Best way to continue this portion is c3 because Alekhine also has development problems. So c6, knight f4, bishop takes f4, bishop takes f4, and e5. Still, this bishop looks bad, but black is completely fine. But Alekhine played f5, which is not a huge mistake, but definitely not a great move. And white played bishop b3, very nice move. He's trying to bring his bishop back to play. Now, we cannot take the rook on e4 because of a mating threat. Yeah, if you take the rook, knight e7, it's a double check. And the only move is king h8, then knight takes g6 check, pawn takes g6, and queen h3 will be a checkmate. So very nice idea. But obviously, Alekhine won't fall for these things. So he just played king h8, protecting his king. And white played rook e2. And here Alekhine played f4. Actually, this move looks good in terms of his ideas because it restricts black's pieces. Now, it's not easy to develop this bishop. Also, it restricts white's knight. Also, black gains more space. But once again, Alekhine also has development problems. So definitely this move is not helping Alekhine's development. But also, white has an interesting move, c4, threatening c5. So here Alekhine played c6, almost only move, to gain some breathing space for his bishop, c5, and Alekhine played bishop b8. Then knight b6. Okay, now pause the video and try to find the best move for black. Almost this is the only move to survive in this position. Yeah, Alekhine played d5, a brilliant move. It's a rook sacrifice. He's losing a full rook. And in this position, white played knight takes 8, which is not a great move actually. Yeah, after knight takes c8, still white is completely fine because after queen takes c8, white has double bishop pair. He can just develop bishop d2 and rook a e1. Then white is completely fine. His pieces are good. Even he can bring his bishop, light square bishop to play with bishop c2. So white is completely fine, but this is a greedy move. So greedy white captured the rook on a8. Now black is one full rook down, but that rook on a8 was doing nothing. On the other hand, also we have very active pieces now. Now all these pieces are going to destroy white's king. So the obvious move, knight h4, and white played queen c3. Obviously, queen h5 is not working because we can just play g6, only move queen h6, knight f5. So sometime white has to give up this queen, otherwise he's completely losing. So here, if queen h3, we can just go for the brilliant move, knight g3. We are threatening to win the rook and also threatening to win the queen. So here, white played queen c3, and once again, very obvious move. So we are trying to destroy white king's castle. Here, white just gave up his rook by playing rook e5 because if you play other moves like rook e3, already black is completely winning. We have a lot of winning moves in this position. Alekhine suggested queen g5 in his analysis, but bishop takes h2 is also completely winning, which is also faster. So after king takes h2, queen g5, threatening checkmate. If g3, queen g4, threatening queen h3, queen g2. So it's completely winning. But Alekhine mentioned queen g5 in his analysis. Yeah, this is also winning. Now threatening checkmate. If white plays g3, here comes the brilliant move. Bishop takes g3. If h takes g3, once again, queen takes g3, a brilliant move. Queen sacrifice. If pawn takes g3, you can just go for f, and it's completely winning for black. Checkmate. So white just gave up his rook for this active bishop, but still we have enough pieces to attack white's king. Okay, now once again, pause the video and try to find the best move for black. Yeah, here Alekhine played knight takes g2. The idea behind this move is, first of all, it destroys white's castle and also it clears the square for black's queen. So white played queen d4 to prevent queen h4, and Alekhine played queen d7 with the idea of queen h3. But actually, once again, we have a lot of winning moves in this position. So knight f4 is also completely winning. If bishop takes f4, queen h4, or queen g4, queen g2. So it's completely winning. But Alekhine played queen d7. So e6, queen takes e6, and bishop d2, trying to finish the development, but it's too late. And queen g6, threatening checkmate on g2. So here, white sacrificed his bishop to delay the checkmate because if you play king h1 in this position, it's completely losing after knight e1. Now the checkmate is unstoppable. So white gave up his bishop, queen takes c2, and now king h1. And once again, queen g6. Once again threatening knight e1, queen g2 mate. So the only move is rook g1, and black played bishop h3, involving all the pieces into the attack, and also it's a discover attack to the knight. So white saved his knight. Now once again you can pause the video and try to find the finishing blow by Alekhine. So here the brilliant move, knight f4, once again a queen sacrifice. So now threatening bishop g2, rook takes g2, and queen g2 checkmate. So white played rook takes g6, bishop g2 check. Now king g1 is not possible because of knight h3 or knight e2 checkmate. So rook takes g2 only move, and pawn takes g2 check. Only move king g1, and knight e2 check. King takes g2, and knight takes d4. So now black is exchange up, and also black has an extra pawn. So this endgame is completely losing for white. So white resigned in this position. So such a brilliant game played by Alekhine. Obviously, both players made mistakes, but there's a lot of things to learn from this game. So we have two takeaways from this game. First one is, if you are not gaining any clear advantage in opening, always prefer development over attack. And the second takeaway is, always prefer piece activity over material in a dynamic position. Hope you learned something new in this video. See you in the next video. Thank you.